approachable. So I'll say that for sure. I don't know if you knew that, but it was, yeah, like it
Yeah.
was very
So
down to earth. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I think that what you appreciate, right? That is, I think, a big struggle for me in
Hmm.
Sri Lanka, especially in the Tamil community, because
Okay.
I wear my slippers are very simple slipper, like flip flop. But the
Oh,
flip flop is called bata or bathroom
gotcha.
slippers. So
Ah, okay.
there's no
Interesting.
respect for that flip flop because in Canada, our
Doesn't matter.
clothing doesn't make anything, right? Because we walk with flip flop, right? We are
Yeah,
respected with the
casual.
flip flop because
Yes.
we can go into a big place also with a big flip flop because
Yeah.
nobody wants weddings, right? People go with shorts and everything, right? Because
Hmm.
Canada has really kind of but in Sri Lanka, it's so my slippers and also I have a cloth bag. I don't wear handbag. So this,
Mm-hmm.
because I have noticed it in my village last time, the respect has gone or they see like cheap. How to say like
Interesting.
non-human way
Really?
because of my down-to-earth approach. But because for me, I can't, right? Like I sit on the floor. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
sit down. I have to, so I am who I am, right? I don't
Hmm.
want, but that for them, it's like they can't respect somebody who is down to earth. If
Mm.
you
Wow.
know, I still remember somebody said, if you walk like that, who is going to invite you into the house? You should come in a car and get down and, show yourself. So
Wow.
that
Right, right,
is
right.
a big, because especially Jaffna, they are
Hmm.
so into money, right? So
Mm.
what
Okay.
you wear,
Yeah.
so
How
even
you come off.
recently, we were saying how I am very comfortable with foreigners in Sri Lanka because we walk in
Yeah.
public transport. Like we
Right,
are
right.
just, we sit on the ground, right? All these. And this guy says, if you go to your village, people will
Mhm.
call you mentally crazy woman. And I
Right,
said,
right.
yes, I know, because they have already done it. So this down to approach thing
Oh,
have
that's so
turned
interesting.
into, because I think that is why now I am so hesitant to go, because I am showing I'm one with you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But their addiction, I'm like, then why do I have to, and I'm not going to change myself for you. I'm
Right.
not going to wear high skill heels because you will
You.
respect me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Exactly.
If you can't respect me, then you stay
That's
there.
fine.
I will continue wherever I get respect, no respect, I will live like this, right?
Right,
So that
right.
down to approach it's really a beautiful thing what you are saying, but
Oh.
many people can't understand or appreciate that down to
Hmm.
earth thing, especially
Interesting.
again our community.
Community for sure. For sure. Yeah. It's so interesting though, because I think maybe we talked about this once before, but I was volunteering at a hospital a long time ago, just as a volunteer, and some person stepped into the elevator and he was just wearing scrubs, just like the thing that you tie over here. And then somebody I was talking to like offered him a Timbit. Hey, we're just offering it everyone as we're going around. And he's like, sure, I'll take one. And he stepped off the elevator and then he went on to whatever his work was. And someone was like, oh, by the way, that's the chief of surgery over there. That was like the top dog of the surgical floor. And I was like, I had no idea. This guy was just talking about Timbits. He's just wearing scrubs, he's just wearing his regular thing and no coat, no name tag, no badge, no nothing, no worker around him. He's just just walking, and it's like that, like that's what's appreciated. You know what I mean? Like I can find the appreciation in someone just being normal, talking to normal people, like a volunteer who has no affiliation, but just there to help people, and he's doing the same thing. And we just had a quick conversation in the elevator, and that was it. Right. So it's like that feels like it's missing, right, from what you're talking about in the community. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they place us as a doctors as a
Hmm.
god. Because I
Hmm.
still know because I graduated in 2026. So I was 26 years old.
Right.
So I was a student. Then I
Yeah.
come to Sri Lanka as a medical doctor.
Hmm.
And I was working. So when I go to the work, everybody stand. I
Wow.
six, right? And before that, nobody stood,
Nothing.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody stand till the professor comes in, right? So
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
used to stand up, and suddenly I'm
Sudden.
there, everybody standing, and I'm like, so I still remember this older gentleman who was a security guard. So I said,
Okay.
Uncle, please don't stand up. I feel so bad. Don't do that.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
I will lose my job. So
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh. Really?
I was like, what should I do? Then
Wow.
I
Yeah.
went to swim because he said, I will lose. Then we had like 10 minutes like not 10 minutes, half an hour tea break or something.
Mm.
So, like, doctor is having tea, doctor is having tea. Go, go, everybody. And it's just the tea, like they make it. Sometimes, there will be only two patients. So I felt like they come from far away. So I felt
Mm.
like 1 o'clock is lunch break. So I will like, just let me finish these two and send them. So they will be gone home and I'll have, no, 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 doctor, it's your lunch break. You should. So they wait for that 1 hour
Oh my
until I
gosh.
finish my lunch. Then I look
Wow.
at them, they will go. So all these, I felt like unfair, but I didn't
Yeah.
have a choice,
Right. It was a
because
system.
instead of going to that,
Yeah.
and that hit me like God.
Um,
And
right.
honestly, I couldn't take it. I was, that's why I love Canada on that. Sri Lanka
Mm-hmm.
is in that, like work.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Canada, because we are equal, right? Whether we are, and also in
Yeah.
Canada, nobody doesn't ask. Like if I say I work in McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Nobody doesn't ask what job they are. I
No.
can be a cleaner or I can be a manager. Still,
Yeah.
I am welcome. But
Yeah.
here, it's all about that job. Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter McDonald's. Like, what are you doing? If I am
Yeah.
cleaner, that's it.
Right.
The whole face changes. If I am a
Right.
manager,
Right. Oh my
so
God.
everything changed, right? So
Yeah.
it's I
Wow.
can't imagine, like, and
Yeah.
then how much money you made. Because, like
Mm.
last time when I went to the village, I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised because I don't work as a medical doctor. They
Mm-hmm.
feel they are, I have disappointed them.
Mm. Oh wow.
So I said, do you want me next time to come with a stethoscope? If I come, that will make you pride, because like having me, there is no pride because
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
carry a stethoscope. So these things, and I'm like, how my profession will make you
Yeah.
good or bad, or better or small, right? But they are
Yeah.
so stuck into that. So that's
Yeah.
a really hard part.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the system, right? Like it just in general, the cultural pieces, societal pieces, and then everyone's so it's like a routine almost. And they're like, as soon as you start to try and break it, they're like, no, 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 go back into what we know is normal, right? For how we're functioning in society. So it's I mean, like again, like you're like a rule breaker, right? Right now, when they're like looking at you, they're like, oh my goodness, look at this person, right? Yeah, yeah,
Because other thing also, I was so grateful because I went to Montreal right away from
yeah.
my like separation, and I met these people who were very genuine, honest. Especially one gentleman, like white man. There
Mm-hmm.
was no like bad thing. So I broke
Mm,
my wrist, and I
okay.
got the workers' compensation.
Mm.
Then when the doctor told me to go back to work, I went back to work. So I did
Oh, okay.
everything legally.
Yeah.
Every so there was a couple, a Sri Lankan couple, Tamil couple. They got mad at me that I went back to work. They said, why you didn't like continue to be saying I have pain and get the money and stay,
Oh, right.
right?
Mm,
So that
yes.
is one thing. But I knew the friends I had in Montreal, they will
They
never
would.
allow me to do any shortcuts. It's cut.
Right,
So
right.
all those, even I got the divorce, I got the Canadian citizenship, everything, bank, everything was perfectly right.
Right,
because
right.
I get the money from them, right? What should I
Yeah.
do in this? And then you should do this. Inform the government these things, right? Even tax,
Mm,
everything clean, like there was nothing.
yeah.
When I came to Toronto and when I was in the shelter, I was getting the loan and the grant, and it's like, why can't you get the social assistance, right?
Mm, hmm. Right, right.
So social assistance will welfare is only given to the those who don't, like, if there is a loan and grant is given, then
Yeah,
we can't get the welfare money.
right,
So that
right.
was so there was a somebody who is working for government. She was saying, pay the school by cash and tell the government you don't go to school and get the money.
Oh.
Right? So that
Wow.
manipulative thing. So I
Yes.
found, when I met you,
Hmm.
that authenticity, you never told these crooked ways, right? So that was
No.
very helpful, right? Because all
Mm,
these people, because I don't know the law, right? I'm
yeah,
new. So
yeah.
so when they guide, right, they are in the like working for the welfare system, government
Mm,
system. So they are saying,
mm.
who will go and pay the school 1,500 rupees by cash, right? Money, like how much, right? The money
Wow.
to go and give it to
Wow.
the school and
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
and then tell the government, no, I don't study. I'm, in the shelter. Give me money. But and also I remember when the COVID happened, a Tamil
Yeah.
person, I couldn't believe. He calls me and says, Trudeau is giving money to all the Canadians now. Please go and get your money.
That's too good.
How, so that money, and getting
Yeah.
in a wrong way is
Right,
another
right.
problem I faced with the Tamil community, right?
Hmm.
So I'm really grateful that, Montreal, I didn't have, I was completely in
Yeah.
the hands of the white people. I did exactly what they told me, and, but then when I came to Toronto, there was a time I struggled. I couldn't know
Hmm.
how to handle it. But I'm so grateful that you didn't lead me to any
Mm.
suggest me like, oh, now you are in the shelter, you should try to get this money and that money, and because I got every therapy for free, right? It was
Yeah,
a
you did.
huge thing,
Huge.
right?
Yeah.
So I got so much, like a free food and everything was.
Hmm.
I can't ask more than that. Like, they
Right.
provided, because even for my divorce, the legal aid into Montreal, they provided everything.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
almost the Canadian government has invested a
Yeah.
lot inside me. So I'm grateful,
Yeah.
and I don't do anything,
Absolutely.
bad to them because what they, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, a community which misleads people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
can get upset when we do in a right
Good
way. That's
way.
something
Yeah.
wrong, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the other, I think, a blessing, because to
Hmm.
ask you as a emergency contact, because
Hmm.
except the white people,
Hmm.
honestly, I can't ask somebody, because for me that authentic is honest, right?
Yeah.
Somebody I can trust that they will be do things in a legal right way.
Way. Right,
Even if I am
right.
not there, not manipulate the system, right? Because that
Hmm.
is what our people. So that's other thing. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful that this
Hmm.
being very
Yeah.
up because that I think it's not in our culture to say right away, sorry, I can't talk to you now. We don't
Sure.
have that, right? We will like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I will talk to you, but I'm that this, like a
This, that, yeah.
common excuse, right? Just like,
Yes.
sorry, today I don't feel like talking to you. I'm sorry, I
Mm.
can't talk to you now. Like simple thing. Either, nobody can't say right, or it's just so these simple things, we don't have that opportunity and the freedom to do
Freedom.
that simple talks, right?
Absolutely.
So